I don't want to repeat myself, saying things like, the chicken is cooked very well, the breast is very tender. But I have to. This is not normal. It's not that easy to perfectly cook chicken every single time. Go try it yourself. I'm confident I can sear a medium rare steak 10 out of 10 times. I cannot do the same for chicken. Hello, welcome back. Today we are starting at the east at a 2025 nominee, Cheng. Man, how many times did I get flamed for this place? After recommending in the top 5 2025, I got so many Eldrick, overrated Eldrick. Well, I guess two things can be true. A lot of people recommended this place and a lot of people are saying overrated. Such is the nature of this chicken rice. Let's find out again. I got a standard chicken drumstick and chicken breast. And it took me by surprise, even though it shouldn't, that the chicken came with the rice. After last episode, I was expecting it to be served separately, but all good. They are using Kampong chicken, as can seen by the yellow hue. More on that later. But first, that's why I say, blind or blind. How can this be okay law? This is not okay law. This is very not okay law. The first thing that hit me, the first thing that I want to guess, is that the quality of the jasmine rice they're using is higher. Each rice grain feels more full, more plump. It makes for a very satisfying bite, very full and carby. Seasoned just right, a lot of chicken fat coming through. I mean, you can see, a bit pushing it, cause the plate is shiny already. Not until it's greasy, and that makes it so satisfying to eat. The texture of the chicken is also on point, but what I like more is that this chicken flavor is the clearest so far. You really taste that base flavor of the chicken, that sweetness of Kampong chicken. If it's any indication, I lean more towards this purer flavor than a more seasoned one. There's only a bit of jelly, which I don't mind. I don't want to give the wrong impression that jelly is make or break. You can have very good chicken rice without jelly. If you are using a less fatty bird, if you do not ice bath it and shock it to aggressively form the jelly, you let it slowly come up to temperature, the jelly will be more dispersed, like this. And that is fine. Some people might even prefer without jelly. And the chili is good too. The mark of a good chili, right, is that even if it's not spicy, you feel like eating more. That's where I draw the line. The flavor without the spiciness needs to be inviting enough. It just so happens that it's a bonus that is spicy. So like I said, it's not okay law. However, it is also not the best. While I like the pure chicken flavor, and I like they don't drench it in sauce, I feel like the broth that the chicken was cooked in can be seasoned a bit heavier. In the thicker parts of the chicken, it does feel bland. Like I said in the last episode, there's a line. You need to season something to increase the taste, but not so much that it overtakes it. In some thicker parts of meat, it feels like no real seasoning really got in. Also, we have the textbook example of a soup. Just that is the negative example. This is my least favorite soup. Clear as water, with this proxy of a taste. It's not a soup, it's like a proxy for a soup. I don't want to repeat myself like the Wantan Mee series all over again. I won't mention it from here on out if it's this soup, but what I will say is that soup has a heavier weightage in chicken rice than Wantan Mee, in my opinion. Alright, more chicken rice to eat today. I'll see you guys at the next place. Our next stop is at Katong. We are here at Katong 美味鸡饭. I know a lot of thoughts, a lot of opinions on this. A lot of people say this is the goat, a lot of people say standard drop already. What I will say is that I thought this place is known to be expensive. How is this the cheapest chicken rice so far? At 10.50 for the usual order, we get a lot of meat. This is a bigger bird, no doubt. And a whole bowl of quality soup and a plate of achar. I thought this is supposed to be expensive. This is a deal and a half for 10.50. And not to quote Coldplay, their rice is yellow. And I really should have talked more about Kampong chickens being yellow. But let's tease that a little bit. So one of the possible reasons why they are both yellow is turmeric. Anyway, enough yap. I don't want to repeat myself, saying things like, the chicken is cooked very well, the breast is very tender. But I have to. This is not normal. It's not that easy to perfectly cook chicken every single time. Go try it yourself. I'm confident I can sear a medium rare steak 10 out of 10 times. I cannot do the same for chicken. This time we go from the small hits to the big ones. Good chili, flavorful, adds a lot to the rice. Rice texture is cooked to al dente. It's on the hard side. I'm not sure if you like it, but one of the biggest hits is how the breast is sliced. It's cut to such a big piece. Look at this. And that really capitalizes on its tenderness. You can really feel how tender it is, what a satisfying bite it is when it's such a big piece. Not to mention it's good value because you get more meat. But the biggest hit that I said a few times now about this place is how complete the meal is. You might have a differing opinion, you might think that chicken rice is just chicken and rice, but I think having all these 5 components, specifically these 5, chili, soup, achar, chicken, rice, it all plays with each other so well. Across the board, all high quality, especially the soup. This soup is as good as Ama cook one. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing that will change your life, but it feels so real and honest. No over flavoring, just a good amount of ingredients and time. But it's been a while since I last had this, and some misses are more obvious now than back then. The chicken is tasteless. The chicken itself. The sauce is oily and sweet, goes well with the chicken, but if you don't have it, the parts that are the thickest, the big pieces, is completely bland inside. Most of it should come down to the quality of chicken. Some of it perhaps the broth is cooked in, but maybe made more obvious by our last stop, there is very little of that chicken sweetness. And the second thing is, while the turmeric rice has a very nice hue, I don't particularly agree with it. It has this gingery taste, which normally helps to cut richness, but here I think they start to cut flavor before they even begin to build it, which doesn't really work for me. Again, I hate to repeat myself, but you know. Interesting. I'll see you guys at the last spot. We are now at Tampines, at Hua Ki Chicken Rice. I got all my recommendations from y'all, and I don't mean to doubt you guys, but why is this chicken rice in a graveyard? I hope this is no indication of the quality, which on the surface level doesn't look too bad. We get one of my favorite soups of all time, lotus peanut soup. I think this works especially well for chicken rice, but we'll see. And then for the breast meat, we get an inner fillet, which is usually more tender but more bland in my opinion. Layer on top of a lot of sauce. Anyway, let's get it. Oh. People might not know this, but rice is something that is very hard to cook. In olden Japan, before the invention of rice cookers, a woman's value is partially pegged to her ability to cook stovetop rice. That was how hard it was. But we have rice cookers now, so what's going on? We deal with the good parts, tender chicken as always. But what I liked about it here is the interaction between sauce and chicken. The chicken is light, but still has the chicken taste. The sauce is also light, heavy on the oil and sweet. Very inviting. This is the kind of sauce that you will want to pour on your rice. Even serving it on the sauce like this, you don't feel like it's too much. Other than that, nothing particularly stands out. No jelly, no significant chicken flavor. The biggest hit is their soup. And this I might be a bit biased, but I think lotus peanut soup goes so well with chicken rice. Their flavor profiles is like a dab. I didn't actually get any lotus roots. I got some broken chicken feet, shreds of meat and peanut, but it does taste honest. However, there is a pretty big, unforgivable miss. The rice has too much moisture. I'm not sure if you can notice, but the rice seems to be fatter than usual. It seems more starchy. The grain isn't as defined, and that's because the presence of moisture weakens the structure within the rice grain. That's all just a fancy way to say soft rice not nice. It can point to a few things. It can point to the amount of water used. It can point to incorrect technique when fluffing up the rice. Those of you who cook rice know that the fluffing up technique, letting steam escape, is very important. If you don't let it escape, the excess moisture will be trapped and then reabsorbed by the rice. Chili does save it a bit. This chili does have flavor, and those of you who like softer rice can maybe close one eye. But I think at this level, not getting the texture of rice right, when all of the chicken rice are so good, this is pretty costly. Stress, yeah. Rice slightly too wet also so consequential, but such is the reality of selling chicken rice in Singapore. So let's wrap it up here. I'll see you guys at the cafe. We are now at Gig Cafe in Tampines, and I ordered an iced coconut pandan latte. And before I get to that, why is one of the prettiest cafes I've ever been in the midst of some Tampines HDB? Isn't this like the other cafe next to Guaco? Anyway, last week I said something about giving out too many 3 plays or overrating places or whatever. I take it back. Even in the second episodes, the good ones really distinguish themselves, and there are many better ones to come. Chicken rice is such a deceptively simple dish. Think simple to the point of cooking rice. Who don't know how to cook rice? And yet there are so many interaction factors when you account in the seasoning that you want to use, the chicken fat, the aromatics, the moisture, the quality of the rice grain. It is such a nuanced dish. It is actually a recipe that can stand on its own. There are many other rice recipes that stand on their own, risotto, fried rice, whatever. The chicken rice should be one of them. And then it doesn't stop there. It goes on to chicken who don't know how to cook. But anybody who has tried, you know that it is so easy to dry out chicken breasts. It is like the top scripted problem in reality cooking shows. But 6 chicken rice in, 9, 12, we won't find a dry chicken breast. I'm pre-calling it. So again, while I say that the good chicken rice distinguish themselves, this series will have the most delicious one plates ever. Cause chicken rice as a recipe is so powerful. It is one of my favorite recipes of all time. So simple, so challenging, at the same time so economical and so delicious. You can mess up the texture of the rice is too soft, but is it still delicious? Yeah. I also want to say that today we had 2 good soups, like Katong Mei Wei and at Huaki. I want to reiterate the impact of good soup. It adds more layer to the meal, not just the dish. It adds to what is already a lot of flavors. Savory, fatty, sweet, aromatics, spicy, and probably more importantly, you counterbalance the heaviness of chicken rice. And then achar after that is just the cherry on top. I think it's super sensible, but majority of the weightage is still chicken and rice. 1 plate I'll walk for the chicken rice, 2 plates I'll take a bus for the chicken rice, and 3 plates I'll go anywhere in Singapore for the chicken rice. And the chicken rice today get 221. I don't want to talk about moderation or any changes. We are still very early in the journey. Next week, we are visiting the south of Singapore and we will be having one of the biggest names in Singapore's chicken rice scene. But until then, that's all I have for you guys this time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!